Planning for this began late 2014. We'd had an idea to do something similar that we'd done with the Scottish referendum with apps and iPads, but we got our demo LiVU unit in our hands, and seeing the size and compactness of this unit, we had an idea. Well, you know, what if we could use these? Then we could use a proper camera. We could get good audio. We had conversations with LiveU. We agreed on a deal, and we went for it. As soon as you start talking about a hardware unit, LiveU sort of came to the forefront. We are very familiar with LiveU. We have a fleet of LiveU units that we use day in, day out. About 18 months ago, we signed a new deal to switch to the new LE500 models, and we use those in pretty much all our international bureaus, as well as in the UK. The LE400 worked a treat because it has 4 SIMs, 4 modems, and we were able to use 1 SIM from each of the main providers in the UK. The reason we built a special studio was primarily so that we could see 150 video sources. You can't just stick that on a monitor somewhere, you need to build something special. We didn't even have the capacity to do that in our existing NOC, which is something that runs Sky News day in, day out. We probably could have only seen 40 or 50 of those at any one time. So initially the studio was mainly a functional monitoring area for us so that we could see what was going on. As soon as people started to realise the scale and the scope of what we were doing and what it would look like, it became more of a point of interest on its own. We decided to put some cameras in here, and ultimately we decided to put Adam Bolton, our main political editor, in here, which allowed him to present and discuss the election with a backdrop of 150 live feeds behind him. I mean, we also displayed the 150 live feeds in our video wall, and that looked amazing to see them all scrolling across, you know, moving live feeds, something that you could not do with traditional video. The other unique advantage of this project was that we could deliver all those 150 feeds individually in quality on YouTube. So they were live streamed in their entirety. So people could look at them live, they could come back and revisit them afterwards. And it allowed us also to clip up the actual declaration, make those accessible on our websites and our apps almost as soon as they'd happened. The training was kept to a bare minimum on account of the ease of the setup. You know, can you turn this camera on? Can you press the on button on a LiveU? It was very straightforward. LiveU Central was very important certainly to the night. We used it in a manner that was perhaps different to its normal purpose. We named all the units so we could see that any kits that weren't online, and we could tell, you know, we knew immediately who was there and how we got in touch with them. We were able to create groups of 15 or 30 so that they were only looking at the units that concerned them. So it corresponded with their multi-view of 15 that they were focusing on. Later on, we even created a declared group so that units that we knew were offline because the count had declared and they were finished, we could move them out of the way, and they weren't, you know, we weren't trying to ring people that had already gone home. From a technical point of view, it gave us visibility of those units, so we could see, were they online, were they not online, was there a camera connected? We could see the modems, we could see the Ethernet ports, we could see what kind of connectivity that they had. I think the LiveU support was important in 2 areas. There was the development of the solution. This was a ground-up solution, and they absolutely had to be involved in that. It's not something we could have done on our own. And then support on the night was also important. We're a team of 2 people, so just to have our partners from Garland and also a couple of the guys, Amir and Moshi from LiveU, was extremely helpful. I think it was about 11:15, all 130 units on air live simultaneously, which was amazing. I think it was very successful. I think we spent a lot of time and effort on our graphics, and they looked clean and simple and, you know, portrayed the ongoing story. We had this added unique selling point of more live sources than any of our competitors that we could dip into. And perhaps somewhat behind the scenes, we were able to take results directly from our LiveU streams. So we had a results team sitting right here, and they could listen across those feeds and they could write down results and feed those into our system before PA. So before PA had them, before BBC had them, and that got us declarations quicker, more timely than anyone else. These were the marginal seats, so these were the key seats that really made a difference to the way the election went. We're very happy. I think it was an audacious project, and there were a number of wild cards, a large number of locations, a relatively small team to pull it all together. It was a lot of hard work, but it was extremely satisfying to see all those live feeds up and running, and to see them being used full frame in the programme as the programme progressed across the night. And particularly when we had our competition quad up and seeing us going live to these counts when our competitors were just reading the numbers from PA, it was very satisfying.